This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Bikeworks HMB, your one-stop shop for bike service, sales, and rentals in Half Moon Bay, California. Whether you're on the mountain, road, or low on battery, Bikeworks HMB has your back. So come on down to 520 Kelly Street and come talk some shop with the boys. All right, I'm GT. Peace out. Enjoy this episode of the podcast. Welcome back to the Between Shifts podcast. Our guest this week is joining us to talk about how she's navigated finding herself as a business owner and human and where she is leading herself in life. She is a fourth-generation local here in Half Moon Bay. She is a chiropractor, a president of a nonprofit, head JV girls basketball coach at Half Moon Bay High School, a holistic wellness advocate, an athlete, a businesswoman, an all-around badass lady. Please welcome our guest, my sister, Dr. Morgan Tomberlin.
Whoa. Wow. All right.
All right. Just had to read it.
Pretty good.
Nice. All right. Hey, Morgan. Welcome in.
Hey, Eden.
Hey, we wanted to kind of start from the beginning. We had some questions about, did you have any nicknames growing up that maybe led to your character building?
I know why you picked this question.
I picked this question.
I told him what your answer was.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had so many, but the one that I know Gavin wants me to answer is Snaggletooth.
Yeah, he's right.
I was Dr. Alborzi's best customer with reverse headgear, 2 rounds of braces, and a bionator. So
Okay.
I had a Snaggletooth.
I used to try on her headgear.
How many bottles of champagne did you get, or apple cider?
I think I got it 3 times.
3 times.
She thought I graduated 3 times. I just kept coming back. Now as an adult, I think about it, and I'm like, damn, like my parents were throwing racks at her. Like that shit's expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's okay. You got braces twice. I got braces 0. So it kind of equals out for the normal.
You probably still have straighter teeth than I do.
No. That's what happens when you open Coronas with your teeth.
And that was
Oh,
when you
God.
were 5 years old. So.
Yeah.
All right.
We just gotta. We get through the little awkward phase at the beginning, but we're getting there. Yeah. So growing up, I've kind of touched on it in the episode that goes into my background, but what do you feel has shaped you? Like what has shaped you throughout your life? What's something from your childhood that you will always take with you, that you've always, every time you go into a new beginning, you think of this and it motivates you, or it keeps your attention to detail on point?
I don't know if it's so much attention to detail, but I think about it a lot. You talked about it on your episode, but Dad like drilled hard work and work ethic into us so much. And at the time I was like, this dude's really fucking busting my balls. Like it's a Wednesday night. I just went to school. Like I went to basketball practice, came home, did my homework. We ate dinner and he's like, we're going back to shoot. And I was like, fuck, like, I'm so tired. Like the boy that I'm dating is in the basketball gym. I can't go back. And it's like, whatever. Anyway.
He's like, oh, it's okay. I'll come back later. We'll put the credit card
Yes.
in the door hinge so that when they turn the lights off, I'll come back around, open the door.
Yeah.
I got this screwdriver. It'll turn on the light in the gym.
And then he's like, the janitor likes Modelo's, Morgan. Run into More for Less and buy him some. I'm like 16. But I just think I wasn't like always the smartest person. I wasn't always the most athletic. Like those things didn't come naturally to me. But like, I think we were just pushed to work so hard that like, that's what's gotten me everything I have in life. And like, whatever, maybe there's a little bit of God-given talent and I should give some credit to the universe where it's due. But like, I think we had 2 parents that really pushed us pretty hard.
Yeah. Attention to detail at a young age translates into a lot of things later in life.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. But
So that kind of, you feel like sports at a young age have kind of helped shape your work ethic today? Is that kind of where you think your work ethic stems from, or do you think it stems more from our parents creating structure? And
I think it's both. I mean, the way that I can't imagine who I am today without sports, but I also can't imagine it with any other 2 people leading me through it. So like, I don't know. There's no way to tell who I would be without either of them, our parents and sports. But I don't know. I think even if I was like super into art, our dad would have had me practicing every night. So it's like, yeah, I guess like, yeah, I can't imagine my life without sports. I think most lessons that I learned young, some people learn a lot later in life. that's why I coach now, because I think it was so important.
Definitely.
Do you think that work ethic plays into like owning your own business a lot?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm typically off by 6:30 at night, and there's so many nights where I'm like, I just want to go home. Like, I've been here all day. My back hurts now. Like, I gotta get adjusted, but I have to stay, and I have to do the paperwork, and I have to respond to all the people who text me because no one else is doing it. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some nights, but
Yeah.
Definitely.
yeah.
Have you always seen yourself owning your own business, or when you were younger, did you see yourself doing something else?
No, I mean, the reason that I got into owning my own business was I don't take direction well. Like, I enjoy being the one that if someone comes in and their neck's completely jacked up and I know how to fix it, I don't want to have someone where I have to be like, hey, I know that scraping would help, or I know cupping would help. Like, are you cool if I do that? Like, with my own business, I can just be like, okay, lay down. Like, we're going to adjust you, then we're going to scrape you, we're going to cup it, you're going to come back in a week. Like, I don't want to have to run everything I do by someone. Like, the flexibility and being able to just, like, trust my intuition in that sense is why I did it. I didn't have, like, a thing growing up where I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. I was just like, my parents told me I was smart, whether they were right or wrong, I don't know. And I always knew I was going to do something helping people. I didn't know what.
Okay, I feel like we skipped a whole part of that with schooling growing up. I mean,
Yeah.
were you a good student? You kept talking about sports. I only heard you talk about basketball.
Yeah,
Were you a 3-sport athlete?
I played softball up until my junior, but like not well. I played JV as a junior. It was the most fun I've ever had playing a sport. I still tell people all the time. I'm like, if you're a junior and you're in high school and you're not getting a lot of playing time on varsity, play JV because it's so freaking fun. And then I played basketball from 5th grade until my sophomore year of college.
Okay, and you're still involved in high school basketball now.
Yeah, this was my first year back.
And you went to UC San.
Yeah, go Slugs.
Because when you first started high school, you made a decision to go to Pinewood.
Yeah.
In Los Altos for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had to make a tough decision. Well, probably not as tough as I'm picturing, but you made the decision to come back to Half Moon Bay for your junior and senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So what, at a young age, making that big of a decision, what does that teach you?
Do you mean like what the decision taught me or what having to do?
Yeah, like just going with your gut, not necessarily like mom and dad were probably pushing to stay at Pinewood.
Yeah.
So what, like, I know when I've made a big decision, like when I chose to stop playing football, that was a big decision. Both parents still wanted me to play football, but I followed my gut and I made my decision,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps me follow my gut now.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't know. I do everything. I know what I want to do. It's more of just like making the choice. And I remember then mom and dad's big thing, or like our parents' big thing, has always been like, you don't quit mid-season. Like you finish it out. And then if you don't want to come back the next year, you don't have to come back the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I just missed my friends. I think the community we have here is so special. And I went from growing up with all these people I knew who I felt like, even, like whatever, you get in little tiffs as kids, but like we had each other's backs. And then I went to Pinewood and I made great friends, but I missed the community here and knowing everyone, and like the teachers knew who was coming up and you already felt connected. And I think I just knew that like I really belonged here, and that's where I wanted to be.
Very nice. That was a good answer.
Thanks.
What is some conventional business advice? I don't want to go there yet. You got anything fun? Let's hear like a
Something
personality
fun.
question. Yeah. Okay, here, I got you. You're going on a road trip for 6 hours. We asked this one a couple of times now. You're going on a 6-hour-long road trip, right? And you're stopping at the gas station to get some gas. Well, this will be good because you're a wellness person as well. So what's something you're going into the gas station to buy for your road trip?
I always look and I never purchase.
Not even a lottery ticket.
I like check labels. I guess a coconut water
Nice.
and some nuts.
Nice. Nice. Pistachios?
No sugar added.
I like pistachios.
Yeah.
Pistachios are good.
Pistachios are good.
I mean, most of my questions are about wellness.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
for it.
I don't know. What's your vision on I mean, are you just mostly when you talk about holistic wellness, are you like eating organic? Do you not use shampoo out of a plastic bottle? How crazy do you get into like that whole kind of
Yeah.
genre of it?
I've gone like super far one direction and then kind of slinkied back. When Garrett and I, my boyfriend, first started dating, I was like on it hardcore, and he was kind of like, "Whoa!" Like, and I could tell it was kind of freaking him out. Like, I was like, "Don't put your phone by your crotch, dude. You're never gonna have kids." And he was just like, "What?" So I've kind of reeled it back. I try to eat all organic. We're gluten free. I have gotten really bad acne in the past, so no dairy. I'm obviously a chiropractor, so a lot of what I do is like around spinal wellness and keeping motion, so like yoga and movement really. I've found that like the best way to focus on wellness is just to completely simplify. At first, like when I was talking about with Garrett, I was in this point where I was adding a bunch of stuff in, but not like getting the base of the pyramid down. So I was like, I'm going to go outside and ground, and I'm going to take 75 supplements, and I'm going to be this superhuman. But I like, between my ears wasn't right. I wasn't getting adjusted. So it's like, you can do all you want, but if you're not like good at base, nothing's going to help.
Okay.
Yeah. What so making the decision after college to go to chiropractic school,
Mm-hmm.
what was the deciding factor in that? How did you know that out of all the medical field you wanted to be a chiropractor?
First of all, I did not want to go into the medical field at all. I was like, I would love to help people, but like, it feels so strict and stringent, and I'm like kind of goofy. I don't do that. But I don't know if you've talked about it on the podcast, but our dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's when I was, I think, a junior in college. And I remember the day Mom called me, I was like set for a shift at this restaurant I was working at. And I was getting ready for work, and she called me, and I was like, what? Like, how did you even figure it out? What? I don't understand. Like, he just did this cliff jump and had a tremor, and I just don't get it. And she was like, well, he went to the chiropractor, and we thought the tremor was because of something in his neck, but she was like, no, like, this is a certain kind of tremor. He needs to go see a neurologist. And she just totally like didn't scare them, but just like crafted this path for him to get the help he needed. And now that we're like years down the line, I really credit her for so much, because we were able to catch it early, and he's still like riding his bike. He's doing amazing. And I really think if she hadn't seen it for what it was and had the knowledge, she could have just adjusted him and been like, wow, that's so weird. See you next week. And instead she took the right steps. So I saw that and I was like, that's so fucking cool. She changed his life. She altered our whole family's like trajectory just from like seeing it and knowing. She didn't have to like tell him what to do, you know?
Yeah.
So that was like what really clicked for me.
And that sent you to chiropractic school.
Well, no. Sorry, that's a really long answer.
Oh, that's good.
I went and lived a year in Spain, came home, and then I was getting adjusted by the same chiropractor, and I was laying on her table, and I had listened to her talking to the person before, and then she was talking to me, and we were kind of talking about all the like weird heady wellness shit that I was into at that point. And I looked at her and I was like, dude, I think I'm going to go to chiropractic school. Like, you're just like shooting the shit with people. Like, you seem pretty healthy. You didn't come in till noon today. Like, I kind of really like your job. So again, she just kind of like was like, yeah, look at this school. You should check it out. Like, it's way cool. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And how long was chiropractic school?
3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from high school to when I got my license was 8 years total, because I took 6 months off in
Yeah.
between.
I mean, about the same as if you wanted to become like an RN or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as I know. I don't.
Yeah, and you got it at a pretty shitty time too, because COVID hit and you were learning chiropractic school online for a lot of the time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I started school the January 2020. Wait. Yeah, January
Yeah.
2020.
Because we had that point in time where it was like Claire was living with us too, and it was me, you, and Claire just in school, like all the time at home. While
I would
Mom
make
tried to work
Claire
from home.
do Zumba classes with me upstairs on YouTube.
Yeah. What so do you have a professor from chiropractic school that you still talk to or still helps guide you in your business now?
Not really from school. I think the COVID thing kind of screwed it up. I didn't really feel connected at school to any professors because a lot of it was screen time. But my two mentors that I did my internship with, Jim and Jen Locks, I like call them for everything.
Nice.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And did you get a lot of your like holistic approach to your practice from working with them? Like, do they approach it the same way, or are they a lot more like traditional, like just chiropractor?
Yeah. She does a lot of funk med, like testing and supplementation. So
Okay.
I learned that form of implementation from her. But I don't really know when the whole holistic health thing, because I was like super into it even before chiropractic.
Yeah. So then you've just being into it before and then having your own practice. You just carried it over.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I'll talk to people at work and I'll be like, oh, you have this, like, try taking this and I can get you this supplement. And they're like, how do you know it? But a lot of it has actually come from like personal research and not even really what I learned in school. I'm just so into it that I'm like, oh, wait, if you have whatever, a heart murmur, you can try this. And there's just like super weird shit that I'm just into.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like throwing a curveball at everything. It's fun. You need people to be able to do that. Like I remember because for a brief moment there, you and Mom went vegan for a while, and now you're back to red meats. Like it's cool and respectable that you're able to go that drastically one way, but then be like, whoa, might be a little crazy. Might be better for me over here.
Well, God, if I just think if you're stuck in any mindset, that you're actually the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to change your beliefs and like what you think is right, because as much as you believe in science, that's always changing. There's always new discoveries. So like, yeah, maybe 10 years ago, vegan was awesome, but now we're seeing like carnivore diet and all that stuff.
Yeah. So after graduating chiropractic school, and you went to work for the Loxes. Loxes are also old school family here on the coast.
Yes.
Jim and Jen have been chiropractors for a while, but they're over in San Mateo.
Shout out Jim and Jen. They're in San Carlos.
San Carlos. So while working for them, how did you come to the decision to start your own practice? Because that's a big leap from working for somebody, just being like, no, I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
It's a big decision.
Well, I was still in school when I worked for them, and then I was coming up on graduation, and I was applying for jobs. And we had talked about maybe me working there, but I'm like a total coastside weirdo, and I was like, I don't really want to commute. Like, I don't really want to drive
It's
over
like
92.
15 minutes.
Yeah, that's what Chip was like, it's 20 minutes, Morgan. I was like, I know. And now I commute anyway, so whatever. But I applied to a ton of jobs, and they were all super cool. And I always vibed with like the female chiropractors. I really thought I needed to like work for someone and learn from them. And I applied for jobs, and it just felt like it was like, okay, you're going to work 12-hour days, 6 days a week, and I'm going to pay you minimum wage. And I was like, I'm a doctor. Like, I got loans, bitch.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. Like, I have to bet on myself. And bringing it back to Mom and Dad, Dad was just like, you're going to make so much more money if you open on your own. But all I could see was like my bank account being so low, and then like what it takes to open a business. But it worked out. Like we did it, and I don't think I could have done it without, like, I was living at home with Mom and Dad when I first opened. You guys helped so much with opening the office, and it takes a village. Like it took so many people.
Well, that's also the cool thing. Like, it wasn't just your family helping you open up either. It was the whole community.
Yeah.
That kind of leads into my next question is, like, what do you love the most about having your own practice here on the coast, being around family, friends that you've known forever, and just Half Moon Bay in general? Like, what do you love most about that?
The connection. I see so many people that I normally would see maybe every 3 years. God, some every 6 months. Like, I just normally you'll see them in passing in Safeway, and it's not like a deep connection. But like, I know when most people in this town are pregnant before they tell most of their friends, and it's fucking awesome. And HIPAA laws, I can't tell anyone.
Yeah.
So they tell me, and I'm like, woo, and they leave, and I have to like say hi to the next person and act like nothing happened. And I just love, like, I'm also like a naturally really nosy person, and I get to be with my job. I get to have the connection. I get to like know so much about these people, and I get to see them in Safeway and just say, what's up? Like, I don't even know them,
Yeah.
you know? So it's just like being able to keep up with people in a way that's like helping them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And you specialize in pediatric, right?
Pregnancy and pediatrics. So it's like
Pregnancy and
family all around that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
What's starting out with a small business, it's I don't know. I know, like, for the bike shop here, like, it's been around a long time and it has a good customer base now, but you're only 2 years into it.
Yeah, like a year and a half.
What's been the biggest thing for like growing your customer base?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know how this community works.
Yeah.
Like, if you fuck up, everyone knows.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you do good at something, people love telling people.
Yeah.
I just the last month spent my first dollar on marketing.
Yeah.
Like, it's been awesome. And I only did that because I was just like, let's fuck around and figure out how to do a Facebook ad. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, it's been so cool. Like, I see families where I see like the parents, the kids, and then they send their grandparents, and then they're pregnant with their third, and I see the baby as soon as it's born. Like, I don't even know what you asked, David. I'm so sorry. But it's more of just like, I see whole families, and then people tell their friends, and
Yeah.
that's how it brings people.
Well, and it's super interesting, being that like you wouldn't assume. I mean, you said you just paid for a Facebook ad, and so that's like, it's not a business that you would assume like social media has like a big part of like gaining a customer base or
Yeah.
anything like that. But has it been helpful to you? Has it like gotten you new clients and stuff
Yeah.
like that?
100%. I think it serves more as a reminder for people that I'm
Yeah.
here. And I kind of use it as such. I get pretty silly with it. Like, it's fun. I just kind of mess around. But it also is a way for me to like get out little snippets of information without having to tell every person.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I talk a lot about wellness on there that I don't really talk about as much in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a I don't know what all businesses used to send, like the letters out to everybody in the
Mhm.
neighborhood, and
Yes.
now you have Instagram for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or like a mass email of
Or next
Yeah.
door or Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
did when I opened. I remember posting on Nextdoor and being like, "Hey, I opened, come in."
Yeah.
And like, I'd still do it today. I think that's a great idea.
I feel like that's a big part with starting a business or a practice in your case, is being okay with like having that humility out there and just being like, I don't care if I'm not sounding desperate. I'm just letting people know. That's like a big thing with this podcast is it feels, you know how many people are like, oh yeah, let's start a fucking podcast. Like, it's stupid as shit, but we took the step and we did it, and yeah, it's a vulnerable place to be in, but we're having fun. So at the end of the day, who cares?
Yeah,
You know?
it's super vulnerable. And you're really like, especially with something like a business or a practice, like you're putting your craft out there for people to judge, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I always tell people, I'm like, if you come in and you get adjusted and you fucking hate it, like you hate what I do, there are probably 10 other chiropractors in Half Moon Bay, and I am so happy to refer you to one that might be what you like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel competition between the chiropractors in town. It's just like, you need to find who's right for you and go and see them. As long as you're being seen, that's what matters.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of leads into the next question as well, is like, with owning your own business, you're busy constantly, whether you're in the office or not. You're always by the phone, looking at emails, doing whatever it is, right? So how do you go about, and what practices do you have to help manage your relationships outside of your business? Because it's pretty easy to get so swallowed up in running your business that it might affect your relationships with Garrett, with your family, with friends. I don't know, but like, how do you How do you manage those? Do you have on your way home, do you have a landmark that you're like, all right, when I pass this tree, that's a dad always.
That's why I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Leonard's been here. My phone goes on do not disturb for everything at 7:00.
Nice.
So I don't think I tell people, but like I'm reachable until 7:00. That's normally when I'm home by. Once I get home, I try not to. I'm just fucking. I am pretty bad at that though. I think Garrett would say differently. Like we'll be sitting on the couch and he's like, "Who are you texting?" I'm like, "Sorry, it's a client. They need to get in tomorrow." But it's like it's my life, and I fucking love it. Like I don't care. People can text me at midnight. My phone goes on do not disturb, so I won't see it. But when I'm up at 6:30, 6:00, like I'll respond. I don't.
Morgan, my fucking back is up. I'm fucked. I'm on the floor.
And like
tomorrow, awesome.
I'm always like, "Oh no."
Oh, hey, good morning.
Yeah.
Did you make it?
Yeah. How did you sleep?
Did you roll here? Like the Campbell soup can?
They show up in like a wheelchair. I'm like, "Oh God, you weren't kidding."
Oh shit.
No.
Well, yeah. So how do you balance that like time versus like your work versus just personal time relationship?
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm really shitty at it. Like it's my whole life. And I think I'm lucky to have a partner that realizes that it's a season. Like we've talked about it. I'm like, dude, by the time we have kids, my shit's gonna be set. Like I'll have someone else working the phone. Like I'll be good. But like right now it's me. And it's just me. And like I'm like trying to help as many people as possible. But also I got bills. So like if that's $100 more tomorrow, I'm gonna respond to the text.
Yeah, I think that's a step of starting a business that a lot of people will overlook is the fact that you have to make some sacrifices that might not make you the most socially like out there for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's gonna prolong the life of your business and make you that much more successful in the future. And
Well, like people like people who respond. Like imagine if I was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry you were in so much pain. I'm not in the office till noon today." Like,
Yeah.
no, that person wants to hear that they're gonna be okay by the end of the day earlier on.
yeah,
Like they don't want to wait till noon.
yeah. Sorry, I'm having mimosas this morning. I can't see you until noon.
God, I could never do that before work. That's the thing though. Like, when I opened, I'm like, well, first of all, this is a job I could never fucking come to hungover because I have to be so on it,
Yeah.
and so present that like I'm not the person that's gonna go out on a Thursday night and show up to work Friday. Like I work some Saturdays, I'm not going out. Like I don't go out.
Yeah, that's a big change that I've seen in your life too. Is well, you and Garrett both are not as big of drinkers as you once were.
Yeah, dude, I fucking partied for years, and then we started dating, and he didn't really party, so it was like, okay, cool. And then it was also coming to the point where I was like, dude, I got shit to do. Like I was in chiropractic school at the time, and it was like, I have board exams. Like I have to be at school at 7 a.m. Like Saturdays I'm in seminar. Like I can't. This is my career, like my life. It got serious fast, and it really turned you into an adult.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Having that in the back of your mind that if you don't do this, if you're not successful, it's gonna really hurt. Well, it's a pretty good motivator. Keep going.
It's also like it's one of the most important things to be the best at, but also like for my clients, I have to be the best chiropractor I can be, because I don't want someone to come in and like be trusting me to help them, and then I'm just like, oh, I don't know, I missed that day in school, I was hungover. Like how embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is different, but I know that you don't operate with insurance for your business. Has that, I don't know, how does that affect the business? And is that something that you're going to get into at some point?
Yeah. I have definitely had a handful of people call, and when I tell them I don't work with insurance, they're like, okay, I'll find someone else, and I send them to someone I know who does. I just can't do it as one person. Like I would be in there until 9:00 at night every night. When I first opened, I said, eventually I'm gonna accept insurance, but then I looked into it, and like the profit is so much less because they pay so little.
Yeah.
And like as the person with insurance, we don't see it because we're like, oh, fuck yeah, I got adjusted as a $5 copay. Like, yeah, you don't think about like, okay, you took 20 minutes of that man's time and he's getting $10 from your insurance. So it was $15. Like, holy fuck. And that guy went to school for 4 years to do that.
Yeah.
And I get it because I pay for insurance. Like, I love going and using my insurance I pay for. So I never, ever, ever take it personally. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's probably why other chiropractic practices were probably trying to pay you a small amount then. A lot of those were probably insurance companies, right?
And insurance can tell you what to do. So I could say like, oh, I worked on Gavin, I adjusted his neck, and then I did some myofascial muscle stuff up in his traps. And they could be like, he doesn't need that. Why'd you do it? We're not paying you for that. So it's like, okay, fuck. Like, that took 20 more minutes of my time.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, that's how I understand insurance to work.
Yeah.
Someone's probably going to say I'm wrong, but.
Yeah. Now without accepting insurance, it's harder to have a loyal customer base. So how are you with creating a loyal customer base? Are you just doing the best job that you possibly can to help hold that loyal customer base, or are you doing things outside of that to help create a more loyal? Like, what's something that you're consciously deciding that helps you maintain and hold a loyal customer
Or what puts you over the top compared to other people that do a similar practice?
Yeah, like why would someone choose to come to me even though it's more expensive?
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
Well, off the bat, I would say it's the pediatric and family care.
Yeah. So in any business, right, you kind of got to weave your way and find a specialty because, like, Dr. Heath has been here, that office has been here from, like, his dad was a chiropractor or something.
Yeah.
Like, I think his stepdad. So it's like, that's been there forever. Like, why wouldn't someone, well, first of all, I have the newest knowledge, right? 'Cause I'm probably the youngest chiropractor on the coast. And I just think you resonate with who you resonate with. Like, so much of healthcare is being comfortable with someone. So if we're not vibing, like, you're not going to pay me the extra money to come see me when you fucking don't like me.
I've gone to the same chiropractor for years, and like I would love to come to you, but I know her so well, and she knows me so well.
Yeah.
Like,
why would
it's
you
like-
switch?
Yeah.
It's like picking a barber,
Yes.
like someone you trust with like cutting your hair. It's like a similar, and that's downplaying it. But
I know I pay too much for how simple my haircut is, but like,
You have a haircut?
but it's just one of those, like, I'm still just gonna do it because I like her and we have a good chat. And it's like, like the base rate is for like a 30-minute haircut. Shit's done in like fucking maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh well.
Yeah. It's the connections made along the way, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're invested. You're like, did she break up with her boyfriend? Like, I gotta go back.
Yeah, honestly,
like, you know
like,
their
her
life.
car got stolen, and I was like, I want to know what
Yes.
the life.
I need to get my haircut.
I don't even need a cut. Can I just book with you tomorrow?
Exactly.
So tell us, you're giving back to the community in more ways than one, but I want to hear more about I want to hear about the nonprofit that you are the president of. I want to hear what it's all about, how that helps give back to the community that helped form you into who you are today.
Yeah. So I run a nonprofit that is called Coastside Chiropractic. So we just took the family out of it and said, not for families. No. It's for teachers, student athletes, and low income. So really, I graduated school. You graduate with a good amount of loans. And a way to get your loans forgiven is to do a nonprofit for 10 years. You can own one, you can work for one. Either way, the idea is that they'll get forgiven. But I had an idea in my head, and I was originally going to take insurance because I wanted it to be accessible to all people. I didn't want someone to look at my rate and be like, oh my God, my back really fucking hurts and I can't go into work, but I can't afford this, bitch. Like, what?
Yeah.
So I came up with the idea of a nonprofit. It helps people. It also helps me. And then I picked teachers because someone I love very dearly is a teacher, Garrett. And the teachers here are just like, at the time they were getting shafted. And I was like, these poor people, like, they're doing, like, creating these little humans that are the future of our community, and they can't even afford to live here. Like, that's fucking awful. So I included them. And then I went playing basketball from 5th grade to my sophomore year of college with only one injury, and it came at the end. And I got adjusted the whole time through, like pretty much bi-weekly. Yeah, every other week. It's bi-weekly. So I decided to incorporate student athletes in it too because they need it most. Most people, when they're that busy paying for sports for their kids, the last thing they think of is to pay for an adjustment. So I wanted to give it at a price point that's easier. I wanted to make it like no questions, your kid's coming, or no questions, the teacher's coming, right?
So how it works through the high school, right? So
we're connected to Cabrillo Unified, all the schools. I literally just came out with posters and like flyers when I first opened.
So do you see a lot of student athletes? I mean,
Yeah.
Especially like being a basketball coach, I'm sure you get a lot of your
Yes.
kids in there.
Yeah. And then Taylor is the trainer at the high school. He's awesome. And I kind of like met with him before I even opened my practice. I don't even think I had a space yet, but I was just like, dude, I'm doing this. And I just tell the kids. And he was so cool about it. Like, we refer back and forth. We share cases and talk about what's going on, and he's awesome at his job. So he's been instrumental in it. It's been really cool to work with him.
So the nonprofit allows student athletes who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford chiropractic care outside of sports.
Any student athlete.
Any student athlete.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
I feel like you're saying that your practice is expensive, and I feel like people should know that chiropractic's, like, relative to the benefits, isn't actually,
No.
it's very reachable.
Yeah, totally. It's so like, I mean, I'm very open with my fees. It's $80 for an adjustment, $160 for the initial. And then all of my clients know that if like money is ever the reason you can't come, like, we work together on it. It's not like, we're a small town, like, we help each other out. It is my livelihood, but this community has given me so much when I haven't been able to afford things. So it's like, I feel like I have to.
And obviously chiropractic is so beneficial in so many ways, and I'm kind of curious if you want to explain a couple things, because you're so passionate about that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I've been going to a chiropractor for years, and I go religiously every 2
I was
weeks.
going to say, how often?
I go every 2 weeks, yeah. And like, money's not an option for that. Like, I'm going every 2 weeks, whether I'm paying for it or not.
Yeah. No, so it's like, the way the school I went to taught it, there's kind of like two trains of thoughts, but it's very nervous system based. So the idea is that your nervous system runs through your spine, right? Your spinal cord, and then all the nerves that come out the spine and look like crazy little hair follicles. So when you adjust, you're taking the pressure off the nervous system and allowing your body to go from sympathetic, which is fight or flight, to parasympathetic, rest and digest. It also does wonders for pain, which we always joke is like the best side effect. Like, we're not getting adjusted for pain. It's just a really great side effect of it. And it enhances and what's the word I'm looking for? Like, reestablishes proper biomechanics. So your joints move properly after, your muscles can relax, right? Because muscles attach to those bones. So once the bones aren't subluxated anymore or out of alignment, the muscles can relax and you find that those chill out. And
I feel like even other parts of my body that shouldn't, and this might just be crazy, but I feel like I don't have allergies, and like, I feel like it feels like I'm on a diet. Like, I feel better, my body feels better just in general after being adjusted.
Yeah, I have this like diagram in my office of all the nerves and where they come out of your spine and what they deal with. So there's a lot of nerves, obviously, coming out of your spine, but each one, someone will be like, oh, I have allergies. I'm like, oh, your whatever is probably out, and I'll check it, and every time it is. It's so crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, it's science, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
I was plugged up the other day. I started going to her once a week.
Yeah.
Because for a while there, it's weird. Like, when your sister starts a chiropractic care, my thought was like, I'm not going to take her like business.
Yeah, she's busy.
But then she kind of like, she was like, why don't you come? And I was like, I don't want to take business away. So then whatever, I go every Monday now.
Yeah.
But one day I went and I was clogged up from my allergies, and she adjusted like my, I don't know what you call this thing up, but my nasal cavity.
Your
My
sinuses.
Yeah, my sinuses. So I didn't even know you could adjust a sinus.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Adjust a sinus. Good band name.
Good band.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have an ongoing thing, like every episode we have, that would be a good band name.
I've heard.
Yeah, ultrasonic kidney stones.
One of the I don't know, the time that I got adjusted where I was like, wow, this is, you don't realize how connected everything is until you have like one of those, was I just was playing baseball and my hand was all messed up. It was tingling like crazy anytime I like put my arm out, and got adjusted. And he was like, yeah, your upper rib was like hitting some nerves on your shoulder or something, and it's just causing my hand to just, it was like pins and needles in my fingers every time I lifted my arm up.
Wow.
Thoracic outlets.
Boom, Chinese.
That's what I would guess.
So what do you say to people that are afraid of their neck being adjusted? That's a big thing in chiropractic care. Like,
Yeah.
when I was little, up until literally when you referred me to Tom Rossblock and Slow when I was at school, I would not let a chiropractor touch my neck because
You would scream.
It
It wasn't just
the-
not touching.
it was the like the twist. I would just be like, no, use the gun.
I think we didn't share either. We've both been adjusted since we were like 2 years old.
Oh yeah.
So he was like, you start to rotate a person's neck when they're over the age of 12. So he was like 14, just like, no. We would
hated
like
it.
go together. But I think nothing needs to crack for it to actually adjust. Like
Yeah.
change can be made with an activator. Change can be made with just that. Like it's not the cracking, it's the amount of pressure and having this right location. Like that's why we have to know anatomy, because you need to know where to push, where to input the force.
Yeah.
Did that
Yeah.
answer your
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
feel
fine.
like you need to know every client's body, which is probably why you need to know that initial visit's so
Yes.
important, right?
Yeah, I always told them, like, it's a first date. Like, we're getting to know each other. It's going to be awkward at times. Like, I'm going to try to adjust your neck probably the first time, and it's not going to go.
You're
and,
gonna smell my breath, and I'm gonna smell yours.
and I probably have stinky breath, so sorry. But yeah, it's like, it's getting to know people's bodies. And the people who I adjust best are the clients who I don't know outside of the office, but have been coming for a while.
Oh,
My family is the worst to adjust. So hard.
Dang it.
Now I feel like you're nervous about your breath. What do you eat for lunch?
Kimchi.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why.
good microbiome. So
Yeah,
Good,
I'm
good.
working on my microbiome. So I'd be having some stank breath. I have mouth spray, so I'll like people come in. It is like a first day. I'm like just hoping I don't stink.
Okay, the last thing, because we have some young listeners that are confused probably about the future and don't know what they're going to want to do. I mean, do you like what you do? Do you recommend it? Is there anything that you would say you wish you did different? And do you have any advice for like young listeners that are looking for a path in life?
Yeah, I love what I do. I have not had a day yet where I've been like, fuck, I don't want to go to work. Like, once I get there, especially, I'm like, oh my God, this is the fucking best job ever. People come in and they always leave better off than when they came in. So it's awesome. I wouldn't change anything. I think the most important thing I did before starting my own business, though, was travel, because it's so hard to take time off when you don't make money when you're not there. So, like, Gavin was in New Zealand, and I was trying so hard to get there, but I had just opened. And the nice part is I don't have to ask anyone for 2 weeks off, but those 2 weeks, I'm not making any money, and I'm spending a lot of it because I'm traveling. So I think the best thing I did was I lived in Spain for a year and just traveled, and when I was in college or undergrad. And that kind of got that bug out, and I'm able to focus, I think.
And then not money related, but your clients are probably counting on you while you're gone too, right? Like,
Yeah.
Is it hard to leave just knowing that those people are probably wanting to get adjusted once a week? And
Yeah. So you legally have to have someone to refer them to when you're not in office. So I have a really good relationship with Evelyn Mosley. She's a chiropractor in El Granada, and we kind of leave each other's name and number when we're out.
Oh,
and
nice.
Adjust each other too.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah.
How do chiropractors get
Yeah,
adjusted?
Yeah. Evelyn and I have an appointment every week.
Oh, nice.
And
cool.
it's just like I opened and I was like, it's hard on your body because like you're bent over all the time and using your, like, you're not just bent over, you're using your muscles to push into something. So I was hurting and I kept like making appointments with random different chiropractors in town just because I didn't want to bug anyone. And finally I reached out to Evelyn and I was like, yo, I need help. how are you getting help? I am in so much pain. And then she was like, she was great. She was like, yes, come in, initial appointment. Like, we're trading. Let's make it a weekly thing. It was awesome. I love her dearly. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Super cool.
Where what's going on in the future? Where are you heading? Are you expanding? What are some goals that you have set for yourself?
I can't give away my full goal because
Okay.
it's up here.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to expand. My goal is to have a way to make money when I'm not there by the time I have kids, just because I'm going to be in the office less, I'm assuming. So I'd love to expand. Fuck it. I'll share my full goal. Why not? I'll be silly.
Breaking news.
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. I want to own like a whole holistic healing center. So
Oh, yeah.
multifaceted, like acupuncture, massage, chiropractic, and just have a space where like you can come, there's someone who sees you, and like maybe it's the acupuncturist, but they're like, oh no, like I'm gonna work on you, but you need an adjustment too. And it's not, the one thing I tread lightly in is like being salesy. I don't want it to be salesy. I want it to more be of like a communal space where like we know everything about each other and we know what you need.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
even with like, oh no, being salesy, like supplement wise, because I know you're big on supplements and stuff like that. Like there's not, I mean, is there a place in Half Moon Bay to buy them that isn't like a New Leaf or a Safeway, like
Yeah.
GNC?
place? Yeah.
There's still a GNC.
No,
Because like, there's definitely a market for that.
Yeah. No, and I sell them. So I work with like what I think to be the best supplement brand on the market. They're third party tested, have tons of clinical trials on every single supplement they sell. So I order for my clients through them.
Okay.
And I hold some in office. Some things I'll tell people to go to New Leaf to get.
Yeah.
Never Safeway or CVS. Or never buy supplements from Amazon because people buy them and put different things in and then
Yeah, I'm sure.
resell them.
Secrets.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
you want to tell the people where to find you? Address, socials?
You can find me at my house in La Honda. Just kidding. Our address is 840 Main Street, Suite B2. And on Instagram, I'm Coastside Chiropractor. And our office phone number is 720-5989.
Woo!
Better.
I'm
There
so
we
sweaty.
go.
What a well-adjusted human.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sticking with us through the awkward beginning and getting to the end. Yeah, that was nice. Great
Yeah.
job, Morgan.
Woo,
Thanks
thanks
for coming
guys.
on.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We just wrapped up having our second guest, Dr. Morgan Tomberlin.
It's crazy to have a sister doctor.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Big sister, dude.
It's really cool. Yeah, she's always been the smarter one, that's for sure.
It is
Jealous
crazy.
of the weekly adjustments.
Yeah, dude, it's nice.
Yeah.
I never noticed. I mean, I never noticed how bad my body felt until I started going weekly, and now
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa,
Yep.
crazy.
I'm like craving it by the time I get to like a week because I go every 2, and it's
Yeah.
like I really need to go every week.
Yeah,
There was a time when I was pretty regular about it, and I haven't been in way too long.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Sucks.
yeah.
It's nice.
I always feel bad that I don't go to Morgan too because like she's the best.
Well, she told you in the podcast,
I know.
it's like you can't think of things like that.
Yeah.
She wants you to go to.
I've
Most chiropractors want you to go
Yeah.
to somebody that you feel the most comfortable with. So.
my chiropractor's like my therapist too. It's once you're so comfortable, so she knows everything. Like she said, like Morgan said, my chiropractor knows everything about me before everyone else does.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. They double as a therapist, dude.
Yeah.
They can't talk about it. That's why.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We'll be at like the kitchen table and me just being nosy. I'm like, wait, who did you adjust? And she's like, no,
Can't say.
can't
that.
tell you. I'm
Yeah.
like, I hate this game.
I know
Give me
that's
some descriptions. Was she
Yeah.
ginger? Was she?
My
Me
mom-
playing the guessing game.
Yeah.
yeah. My mom being an OR nurse, like I don't know, she has plenty of stories of like, this big celebrity came in today and like we like did surgery on them, and I'm like, who? And she's like, like fuck off.
Wish I could
you
tell
know?
you.
Yeah.
It's
terrible.
Yeah. I signed a lot of NDAs working in houses too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What So what are some key takeaways that you guys are gonna take away from that podcast?
I think it's a lot more school than most people think to become
Yeah.
a chiropractor. Like she
Yeah, for
really,
sure.
really ringer going through it.
Yeah, she studied her ass off too.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
works hard.
Yeah.
And that's oh no, the schooling is crazy. That's a lot. I mean, it's like the same amount of time as becoming a nurse. And for you to come out of that with, I don't know, like her initial job offers being like minimum wage is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
But also just like the owning a small business aspect, like she's killing it. And
Yeah, you got to bet on yourself.
yep, exactly.
It's crazy. I could never do that. Like I love working for other people. Just not having like as soon as I'm off work, I turn it off.
Yeah, that's fair.
No.
I mean, some people have that personality. Others have.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a beauty to if you just want to show up to work and then have nothing to do with it after.
Oh,
then
yeah.
like there's something to that, but I feel like there's not as much satisfaction in your work when you do that compared to like if you own the business and everything is on you and like you're just
I feel like there's satisfaction in its own way. You know, like I think that I don't know.
yeah.
Satisfaction in its own way, but I agree. I think that owning the business and seeing other people work for you and still have their satisfaction side, but then you're like double satisfied because your employee is satisfied and you're like, dude,
Yeah.
my business is cranking.
Yeah.
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 It's crazy. There's a lot more you got to go through too. Starting a business, like business licensing, going through and like making sure that you're not taking someone else's name.
Yeah.
And it's also
Yeah.
it's also scary because you're not just putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself out there financially and like it's
You got to be very
It's a lot.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Which is really like I didn't expect her to tell us so much insight into the business and
Yeah. She
and,
really kind of like she let it fly.
yeah, she was honest.
What a great guest.
awesome.
Yeah.
Great guest.
Very
and
transparent.
well-adjusted human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty awesome. Anyways, that's our podcast. That's our recap. So
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for tuning in, guys.
thanks for tuning in. Have
Yep.
a great day. Between shifts, signing off.
See you next Friday.
Adios.
Later. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, we're brought to you by BikeWorks HMB, your one-stop shop for bike service, sales, and rentals in Half Moon Bay, California. Whether you're on the mountain, road, or low on battery, BikeWorks HMB has your back. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support this podcast, please feel free to reach out to us at betweenshiftspod@gmail.com. The link will be in the description. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. GT signing off.